I'm gonna press this. So,
I mean,
do me a favor and say who you are and what you do and where you are.
all right. My name is John Davis. I am a lawyer for the federal government, and I am in Cleveland.
And then we've been joined by one William Furbee, Catfish Esquire. I knew you'd join me. You know how hard it is to get people to do this? I was just telling John that.
Really?
Yeah, it's tough.
Well,
I know you're always there for me. I know you are. That's what you were about to say, wasn't it?
I always have been. And see the date has been changed on your placard behind you.
To reflect today's date.
That's yes.
I mean, I'm pretty capable in that regard, and also when I turn the computer on, it tells me. So, Bill, go ahead and reintroduce yourself.
Hey, John. I've known an audience. I've known Scott for a while, and play music with him currently.
He's in Cistern now, John.
Oh yeah, right on, man. I love that band.
He does.
I love that band.
All right, band.
We're going to do an acoustic version of T-Mission Wednesday around this time, and I'll post it on Facebook so you can hear it.
We are?
We are.
That's my idea, by the way, John.
I believe it.
It was Billy's idea. It was Billy's idea all the way. No, we're gonna do Sister. I'm gonna do the panel like this every Wednesday with you guys.
You should give me more notice. I would
I just threw it out as a flyer. I had Troy Turner invited and Wes Pence invited and Nick Markwald invited, and nobody responded. And I was coming up on the time, and I wasn't going to just wait because I want to talk to Johnny here. Johnny, tell me about the last 2 weeks in the world of federal law.
Oh man, I'm serious. We're not going to talk about law, are we?
We don't have to. You can just tell me the personal events that have taken place in your life.
I'll do that.
Don't smoke. I can't smoke in here. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Dude, I'm not supposed to smoke in here. I'm on the third floor. I'm no smoking zone.
Okay. You got the window open at least?
About to, yeah.
Hey, John, tell me about yourself. I don't know John.
Oh, you know what? We worked once upon a time, a long time ago. I was Jim Farmer's partner with Deary Me.
Deary Me,
oh.
yeah.
Oh, well, right on.
Yeah. So we got a couple of tracks from you guys on our comps.
Yeah.
The Catfish.
Yeah, right on.
But so I was there at Cincy, and then I just a short background sort of thing.
Do it, man. Tell them about Out West and everything.
Okay. All right, yeah. So from Cincy to Bloomington for law school, and then out to Portland for 10 years. Then my parents are getting old, so I moved back here to Ohio, and I never lived in Cleveland. I'm a Cleveland sports fan. So I decided to do this, and I've regretted it ever since.
And where are you at?
Not really. Not really.
You've told me that many times, though. Almost every time we catch up, I hear that line.
You know what? It's just you know what? I've gotten used to it. It's definitely a different scene than Cincinnati is, and that's okay. It's kind of, it's.
What city are you in?
Cleveland.
Oh, hold on. Let me just for you. Hold on.
He's got something just for you. What kind of law? When you say you do federal government law, what does that entail? Is it like negotiating contracts with private entities, or what exactly? I know law is a many varied beast, and I know there's a lot of specific fields. For some reason, Christina asked me, and I said he might have been criminal law at one point, but you weren't, were you?
I was for 10 months.
You were?
I did criminal law. Yeah,
10 months.
Yeah. Well, my wife did criminal law.
Okay.
So I needed a job, and so I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then I got this.
It wasn't this altruistic idea about like helping our fellow man and giving everybody their fair shake. It was just like, I need a job.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it was fine. I mean, I did all that shit too. But,
it's fair. I know you do. I've known you a long time, and I know you do.
Yeah, I do. But really, it was for a paycheck, and then I got this gig. And by trade, I won't say what agency I work for.
Of course.
But by trade, I'm a tax lawyer.
Okay.
So.
All right. So have you guys been affected? Have you been working at home anyway, or did you have an office you had to go into and that changed, or?
You know what? I'm managing counsel. Big freaking deal. So
really? So you run? How many people are under you in that office?
9. Yeah, I know. It doesn't pay anymore if it's 1 or 2.
Right. Yeah, I got you.
Now
whatever. My wife works for the Office of Social Security, and literally right before all this, and obviously not before this started spreading, but before the United States started taking it seriously, they literally had just taken the Social Security Administration's ability to work from home away.
Is that right?
Yeah, Trump appointed a new director guy last fall. I can't remember what his name is now, and he's one of these old school guys that says nobody got a day's work done without going into the office, and so he
Oh
rescinded.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
he rescinded all these people's. Starting March 2nd, Christina had to go into the office every day. She got one telework day a month after spending the last 5 years working from home 3 days a week. And
That's great. Oh, that's good.
well, and what happened? She got sick as shit. She was at work 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
2 weeks ago today, she ended up running 103 fever. And I was like, "Well, there you go. You're on the same floor as immigration." Yeah,
Did
anybody
she
that watches these a lot are going to hear the same stories over and over again. So, Billy, I'm sorry too. But no, she didn't have it. She had a flu. She went to the doctor. The doctor made her go get tested. It took us, 3 or 4 hours to get her tested and 5 days to get the results. She didn't have it. I was sick enough yesterday to call into work, but that was mainly because I was so congested. I spend all day on the phone. And you guys have both known me long enough to know that I love the sound of my own voice. So if I don't feel like talking, I must be sick. And I didn't feel like talking. So I spent all day watching Lord of War.
2 nights ago, it was like 8:00. We had pizza with Katie and her boys.
Right. Was that Katie behind you? She didn't say hi. She kind of did.
That was. Yeah. She's, yeah.
I don't know why I said was that. I knew damn well it was.
But at 8:00, man, I just felt like I hit a wall, and I said, "Hey, I'm
Thursday night."
I was I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. I slept for 12 hours, and I thought, oh my God, I've got.
You just needed it. You just needed it.
But thankfully, I woke up feeling somewhat normal.
Yeah, the crazy thing is the whole time, because Christina got sick and then my daughter got sick, and they both ran high fevers early on.
We died. I just got word this afternoon that my aunt, who's in Westchester,
has it? Is feeling sick?
No, for sure, but is feeling ill and flu. So.
Oh no, man.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. But that's the whole thing. Is like, come Monday, I was actually trying to talk Christina out of going to the doctor, and she's like, "But what if I have it?"
Song, come Monday.
Yeah, I know it.
Nice little touch there, Scott.
Thank you. No, I was trying to talk her out of going because we weren't going to treat it any differently, even if she had it. Fluids, aspirins, rest, vitamin C. It's a flu, essentially. Is that vitamin C?
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Brownies.
I did go to one Browns game, and this was the throwaway plastic cup, but I thought I'd save it to bring out whenever I watch Bengals.
Oh,
there you go. Why
not?
It's not the team you hate; it's their fans. A lot of people lost money on the Browns this year. They were supposed to be so good.
Dude, my buddy
lost money. Period.
Yeah, right.
Through that, but
right.
dude, my buddy went to college with Freddie Kitchens.
No shit.
Yeah, he had a class with him, and he said that guy showed up once, and the professor made a point of pointing it out to the class, like.
Did he also point at the fact that he was passing anyway?
Yeah, no kidding, no doubt. But as soon as Clay heard that we hired him, he's like, JD, that guy's nothing but a big old shit kicker. My buddy, he's from my buddy's from Tuscaloosa, so he's
no shit. Now, you're from Findlay, right? Aren't you from Big Ben's hometown?
Flag City, yeah.
Findlay, that's the headquarters for Kohl's, right?
You know what? They've got a distribution center. I didn't know they were headquarters. We're Marathon Oil up there. That's the whole city's employed by Marathon Oil practically.
Okay.
That's entirely possible, right? Isn't the population of that city like 60,000?
Yeah, something like that. That's a little high, but yeah.
Is that high?
Yeah, a little bit. It's like 40, 45.
45?
Yeah.
Half of Norwood?
Yeah, no doubt, man. But yeah, no, it's I don't care for Findlay that much. It's pretty. But anyway,
that's also Flag City, USA, right?
Yeah, you got it, man.
What he said.
This guy. Very nice.
There's a reason. There's a reason that Billy can make a career as a writer. He's a wealth of knowledge.
Good. Jim Farmer's writing a book on Cincinnati sports.
I always forget. I always forget what a big fan he is. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Billy. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, he's a big fan, and he does the Reds Fest and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and you both may know Jim better than I do.
I don't.
I
know him. John knows him pretty well.
I was crushed. He was working on Reds history book.
Yeah,
why? Lost it, right?
Yeah, he lost it.
The entire book.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
entire book, and he was
what? Someone
done.
someone took the rights from him?
No,
No, like a
he
computer
unplugged.
crash.
Oh, you mean literally? Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Oh man,
but he's
that's not funny
rewritten
at
it.
all. And he's
No.
rewritten it. Uh,
Yeah, and so it was pretty cool. Like Scott, you know Kolarzik.
yep.
Yeah, and so I went to high school with this guy Matt, and when we were in high school talking about band names, he said Dummy Hoy, and I just thought, well, that's a weird. Okay, what the hell is that all about? Well, it turns out Dummy Hoy played for the Cincinnati Reds, and he was from Finley.
It's not in fact an exclamation.
No. I thought it was an exclamation. I thought it was Dummy Hoy,
Yeah,
but
right.
no, it's Dummy Hoy. And so Jim Farmer tells me a story about Dummy Hoy. He's from Finley, but he played for the Reds. And then he had this date. He's like, on such and such a date back in 1940, whatever, the Cincinnati Reds and the Indians played an exhibition game in Findlay, Ohio. And Dummy Hoy was there. They called him Dummy Hoy, Scott, because he was deaf.
Oh, in those
think-
very politically sensitive times.
Yeah. No, I think it's deaf. Maybe he couldn't speak, but anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say dummy would mean you didn't speak, but
Okay,
I mean,
that's what, because he could say one word, and when he'd strike out, he'd apparently look to the refs and say, "You're dummy."
there you go.
So
Like Timmy?
anyway, I was like, man, I wish I had that kind of a brain. I don't have that kind of a brain.
Yeah, we should have invited Farmer. No, we'll invite him for a later one. He could talk about the recreation of his book.
Yeah,
But do me a favor. Go ahead.
You should have him on the next one.
Well, I got tomorrow slated. I've got a medical professional from Washington State.
So you're playing these so far in advance. What
One day. Tomorrow is you're like you're like Marv Albert and to David Letterman. No, yes. I felt bad. No, here's the thing. Honestly, Billy, I meant to text you because you texted me the very next day after Wednesday. On Thursday, you texted me, and I had a couple people lined up for that one too, and said, "Hey, I'm ready. Let me know." And I thought, "Oh hell, Billy's going to be around for any of these," and I appreciate it very much.
You know what? The last time we did this, I had an idea for a new segment.
A new segment for this?
Yes.
Okay. I'm still trying to figure out how to record it so it shows up like I see it. Do you guys have it in gallery view where you see all three of us?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm recording these, and when I post them on Facebook, they switch to speaker view where the image switches to whoever's talking, and I hate that.
Okay.
I've got it, but I like it that way.
You like it that way? See, because I kind of feel like it's more of a conversation if you can see how other people are reacting to what's being said.
I'm inclined to agree with that. That makes sense.
I haven't been able to figure out how to do it yet. I'm still working. This is still a work in progress. By the time this date says something like May, I may have it down to what I want it. But give me an idea for, I still haven't gotten John's take on the whole Corona thing, but I want to hear your idea for a segment first.
Well, it's completely unrelated.
But, that's part of the fun of this whole thing is to make sure it drifts.
Well, like many people, I buy records before I have time to listen to them.
You going to talk about the Dylan thing? No, go ahead.
No. But I have a stack of records that I've ordered through various places, and I've yet to listen to. And I thought before I listen to them, I could share what they are and get reactions.
Oh, nice. That's a great idea. I like
that. We should, we should do that. And no offense, John, but we should do that on the sister night, on the Wednesday night. All of us should talk about what we're going to listen to that week, and then we can kind of backtrack and talk about what we thought of the things we'd mentioned the week before.
Like a book report,
if you will. So John, you are working from home now, right? As the John, big cheese.
What's in the mug, John? What's in the mug?
That is coffee. I swear to God, it's coffee. I got this.
Yeah, he started drinking early. He warned me. He started drinking early. It doesn't surprise me he's having coffee now.
I can confirm nor deny that.
Scott, does your wife know that you're smoking right now?
No. She's gonna watch this and be like, "What the hell?" Well, no, that's just a little view. That's just a little views thing I have too for
she's
things
not
like
gonna
this.
Watch it.
No, she's watched them all.
I'm sure she tells you that.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So John, as this thing came down the pike over the last few weeks, what's the general thought process in your office? How do people feel about things? How's quarantine treating you? What's your personal gut feeling on how this is all going to shake out?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm worried that by the time they get this thing figured out, there'll be another, they'll be just in time for the next round to hit. I don't know how long this
Next
thing's
round,
gonna-
like a different bug,
Yeah.
or the same
Yeah,
bug just resurgent.
Yeah, probably just resurgent. Hopefully it's just resurgent. God, if it could mutate like in 1 year, how bad would that be?
Well, hasn't the flu always done that? Isn't that why this is COVID-19 and SARS, whatever it is?
I think that's right. I think
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
I mean, it's actually, I don't know. Being kind of a cynical son of a bitch, I find it interesting that this is the first time this has happened like this. I don't know. I hope I have a lot of friends saying that this might be the new normal. That this is just the way we're going to have to live our lives moving forward.
That's a little. The last 2 days, man, I've started kind of freaking out about that possibility, and I've been kind of. I got a life coach, right?
Do you? Good for you.
Yeah.
No, good for you.
I've known her since she was 12,
She's money.
and I was 14. So
She's
anyway,
she's just like an accountability partner, making sure you're doing the things you want to do.
Yeah, pretty much. And like,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's all right. She's my fitness instructor too.
I think that's a good pairing.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, no, it's been weird. I went into work every day last week to get the mail, and I was the only person there, like all day long. It was weird. It was definitely. I liked it at the beginning of the week, and by the end of the week, I was about to pull my hair out. And I'm not a really social person. That's not something that I enjoy.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about this, because I wasn't sure that this quarantine might not have been right up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, initially I was like, yes, it's cool, but no, it really hasn't. I get why. I'm just kind of going stir crazy. I walk the dog, and everybody like stays away from you and everything.
Yeah.
It's just very disappointing. But everybody in our office has been pretty cool about it. I was surprised because offices are made up of a lot of different types of people, and I haven't had one person.
Little world microcosms.
Yeah. I haven't had one person, complain or anything. So it's been really good, like from our perspective.
I think initially, and that's the other thing too is your office? I mean, despite the geographic difference, what are you making?
Homemade
Nice.
potato chips.
Awesome. That was Hey, Billy, that was one of the guys I was going to have on was Nick Markwald. He's the head of Hen of the Woods Chips, and I was going to have him talk. Well, anyway, but no, that's cool. It's fine. But you just made it, so I'll make sure you're on that one too, so you can tell them how your chips came out. But how's this affecting things aside from the geographic change? I mean, is your workload affected? Is the things you're doing changing? Is there? Because I don't want to jinx anything, but my job thankfully has always been kind of a work from home. It's a phone sales thing, I could do it from home. Yeah. But the last couple of weeks has been kind of terrifying. And I mean, I really think that our product's positioned to help an industry, blah, 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 real estate. But the whole truth of the matter is there's been a big fall off. And right now everyone's just talking about, self-education and helping, lean on the people that want to keep things going. How secure is it? What tell me a little bit about how you think this is going to shake out and how you're positioning yourselves for it changing back or not.
Yeah, no, I think, we were already trending in that direction, towards a more
It's interesting because of Christina's like the other way, but anyway, go ahead.
No, it's so weird how different agencies handle things differently, because we've been trending in that direction to make us all kind of telework eligible, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And so, and a lot of our we were in the process of converting things to a more modern filing system, electronic types of stuff.
Sure, to make sure things can be lost in huge swaths instead of small. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
You work for the federal government?
No, but I've been married to a federal employee for quite some time. I hear how our tax dollars are working.
Yes. So no, we're in pretty good shape. I think we're in pretty good shape. We're doing a nice job. And
now, were you guys affected at all by the adjustment of the tax deadlines or anything like that?
No,
not at all.
None. So yeah, no, I work for a lawyer's office, and not for the agency for which I represent.
Okay.
And so
I got it. So you're like a
so-
subcontractor for the Fed.
no.
No? You're a federal employee.
Yep.
Hmm.
It's very strange, and I'm being
Deliberately
notice-
obtuse.
I'm being evasive on purpose.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. I don't know if you watched the other night. I totally blindsided somebody that I had on here, and he was kind of upset with me. Texted me afterwards and stuff. And so I'm sorry, Adam. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I won't do that. But
That's
I
fine.
am being vague. But I can say
No, I
that
appreciate you saying that.
we're moving in the right direction, and overall, I think they're handling it as best they can. It was a little weird this week because I was the only person there, but apparently now I'm not going to be there at all. So
nobody's going to be there. Did you have to mothball the office? Were there things you had to do to make sure that nobody had to show up and do anything, like collecting the mail, for example? That's an interesting. I mean, is the mail being forwarded to your home address now?
I can't really say.
Very good, sir.
I cannot say, but yeah, no. But there's a system in place, and it's not a system we would normally abide by. But these are abnormal circumstances, and
yes, it's a weird time.
Yeah. My employer's not too bad. I mean, my particular sort of thing, they do all right.
You're direct.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good scene for me, and we'll see, man. But I wanted to go back to the vinyl thing. It's very important. It's probably the most important.
You can still hear us, right, Billy?
About 3 weeks ago, before this all came down, I went to this record store I'd heard about, and it's tiny, but they said they have a good selection. And I like that because I don't like to be overwhelmed with stuff to look at.
Sure.
So I went.
You don't want it to be an athletic endeavor to search through records.
Yes, exactly. Right. I get worn out. It just wears me.
I do too.
but so I was in there. It's called Hausfrau Records. And,
where is that?
It's in Cleveland. It's over.
No, but it's in a specific neighborhood.
Detroit
I think I've been
Shoreway.
there.
Detroit Shoreway.
Oh, maybe that's not what I was thinking, but I think I've been there. Anyway, go ahead.
But so I went in there. And I found a copy of Sucking Hind Tit on vinyl for $5.99.
No shit.
Yeah, $5.99, dude.
No shit.
It's got a sticker on the front. It says from Columbus in the 80s.
What? I actually was. It's so funny that you bring that up because I was actually astounded to find both the first record and that on Apple Music.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, well, that's nice. That's very cool.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking of that Posse Comitatus song a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And no, those are both great records. You know what? I think the reason they're on there, and I think it might be because didn't Darren down at Shake It, didn't he produce a combo of those for his label at some point, like an anniversary something or other?
Me and
I thought he re-released the Okra stuff.
Oh. I don't know. Me and Farmer did that first one.
You guys did the Wolverton Brothers self-titled?
Yeah.
That's a Deary Me?
Yep.
I thought that was Okra too.
Oh, wow. Huh. They may have done it after we did it, but I know we did it because I got a freaking stack of them here.
Send me one.
Okay. Yeah.
I've got this guy in England. Actually, if you don't mind, I'll PayPal you some money if you need it. I've got this guy in England. I've got this stack of vinyl growing. There's some Billy stuff in there that he gave me duplicates of without knowing, that I'm sending to this guy in England because he sent me just arbitrarily, because he was on this GBV group page. He just sent me this CD, and it was actually 2 CDs of all of his favorite tracks from last year, and all of his favorite. And he actually went and did a whole CD of all instrumental tracks he loved from last year, which I thought was interesting.
John, what Wolverton stuff do you have?
Pull one out. Show us, man. Show us.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll show you the record. I've just got the.
It's a nice coat. It's got to be colder in Cleveland.
Yeah. No, it's not too bad. It's
80 degrees down here today.
Oh yeah, it's not that hot. It's like 60.
See, I prefer that better in April, and it's not even April.
Yeah, no, it's pretty nice. Here's what I got from the record store the other day.
Yeah, okay. It's a great record.
I got that one.
Yeah.
It says 89 Columbus on it.
Yeah.
Well, Cincinnati's just a suburb of Columbus anyway, really.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. It's amazing. It's amazing how little I hear about Cincinnati up here unless I take the initiative. It's very weird. But Columbus, they love Columbus up here, man. It's crazy how much they love. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a Columbus guy. Not.
What about Dayton?
Anyway,
He's a Dayton more
but
than
anyways,
Columbus.
I've got a stack, Billy. I've got a stack of CDs, the original Wolverton Brother album.
Can you show us one of those?
I don't know. I don't think I've got them up here. Yeah.
See, I'm confused by this Deary Me thing.
Okay.
Oh, I just knocked the day of the week down.
John, part of my interest, and certainly not to capitalize on this because it's a forgotten dream at this point, but I did start a label.
There are no forgotten dreams, Billy.
I did try to start a label of my own at one point a few years back called Little Cricket Records with some friends. And
I like Little Cricket.
A tape by Joe Pat from the
Oh, nice.
Yeah, solo. It's actually very good. And a couple other things that I quickly realized, despite our best efforts to simply break even.
Yes.
It's a losing proposition.
Yeah. You really gotta have money to burn.
Yeah.
I mean, and want a hobby.
Is it when just out of curiosity, because you guys both did it, and I considered it briefly at one time when I still thought I was somebody.
Scott's invisible.
Sorry?
Scott's invisible.
I'm not invisible. I actually I knocked down my date thing and I've broken it and I'm trying to repair it out of sight. No, but to start a label isn't the thought process, if you can just get it going, you get enough out there, and if just one thing takes off, you can sustain it. I mean, isn't that the whole thought? Is that something's going to take off that'll sustain it?
I think that's probably the dream. You can at least finance. Yeah, you can finance it with a big one.
Date.
But the the industry's changed so much. I don't know how possible that even is.
I want to get. I just had a conversation this past week, a text exchange. Like I'm in a group text with neighbor Paul on East Coast, and these are GBV heads, John, that Billy and I both know, and Vince just arbitrarily he sent. I tried to get those guys on last night, but nobody wanted to do it, and I didn't really feel like doing it either. But Vince sent me this thing. He's apparently good friends with a drummer from a band called Tycho, and they had this text exchange that he actually just shared directly with us about how this whole coronavirus thing is going to murder the live music industry for a time. I mean, there's just so many of those like festivals and stuff, and this was one of the points he made. It's like those festivals, a lot of people don't understand. They run on like these razor thin margins.
Okay.
And really,
yeah, and
not just the festivals. I mean, clubs.
The bands themselves. I mean, this guy's on a label backed band selling records, touring the world and shit. And I'd never heard of him, Tycho. I don't know. But his comment to Vince was, it's over. He said the live gigs, the tours are the bread and butter. He lives on between sets. It's like they're not making money on streamed royalties, and the labels aren't really making money on unit sales either. So it's just like the live performance is like more important now than it's ever been.
Well, my experience is it was already a tough time. I mean, when a show sells out, of course, everybody does well. But more often than not, the show loses money.
So, yeah, right.
And then I would, not naming a venue that I'd worked for, but I would be managing a show, and the band had said, we're supposed to have 5 bags of chips down here. There's only 3. And I'm thinking we're losing $700 on this show.
Right. And you want us to get you 2 more bags of $2 chips.
Yeah. So
wow.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure I'm sure there's horror stories from both ends of the spectrum, but it's just like, one of the points of what Vince was saying is this, because we were talking about labels and the music industry and stuff and how things are now, is this like live stream thing is going to, like someone said, shuffle the deck and even the playing field. And I'm like, is it? I don't know.
That's what I'm all about. Rock.
Why not?
Rock.
Right.
Yeah.
Rock. I thought you were moving back to Cincinnati and we were going to have a Mighty Wagon reunion, or at least do a one-off.
I'm all for it, man.
Mighty Wagon together.
Pardon me?
Were you both in Mighty Wagon together?
Yeah,
we were, but I think I was only wasn't I kind of marginal?
I don't know. You were a golden era of the band. I know that.
I made the stickers.
Those were great stickers. I love those stickers, man. I wish I had some for probably up until 5 years ago.
I actually saw one. I wish I'd set it aside. I was shuffling through some shit because a lot of us are reorganizing things in these odd times.
Yes.
And I actually saw one on something, and it was one of the orange Dayglow ones or whatever. It was a little faded, but it was definitely recognizable as a wagon. I just wish that East 13th Street Stomp song had been recorded in some capacity.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a classic. That was a chestnut.
It was a chestnut. Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear my dog losing his shit?
No, I hear the neighbor's backyard with 5 children.
Now that's an exciting. You hear Verve?
Birds.
Oh, somebody posted something today about how this whole coronavirus thing is a complete plot to give the government an opportunity to change the batteries in all their spy birds.
The sad thing the sad thing is, Scott, that's probably not the craziest conspiracy theory I've heard.
Oh God, no, I know without a doubt. But it did remind me of a good story. If you guys don't mind me regaling you on my dime, I'm sorry. It did remind me of a story. Scott Ritter, may God rest his soul, told me years and years ago that the coal mining industry. He was a whitewater raft guide in the New River Gorge in Gauley River in West Virginia. And he told me the story once when I was down there with him. And he said, "Do you hear the bird song?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And he said, "The coal mining industry in West Virginia decimated the bird population so completely that in the 80s, they actually hired the Skywalker Ranch people, Lucasfilm, or I forget what the name of their special effects. Oh, Industrial Light and Magic, ILM. They hired ILM, the West Virginia Tourism Board, hired ILM, came in and strung speakers down the entire New River Gorge.
No way.
Because of the lack of bird song. How are they, though? I mean, what do they taste like?
Spilled oil on my foot.
Oh,
Ow.
shit. Well, you get medical tech. Can you still hear this story?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, so Industrial Light and Magic string speakers down the entire New River Gorge because the lack of bird song was noticeable. It was apparent from the people doing raft trips and stuff. And it was such a big part of the economy that they fixed it. And yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? And watch this. Hello. Food delivery. Anyway, so years later, thank you. I'm in the middle of something. What is that? Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks. It's not real life until this happens. But anyway, so years ago, or years after that, that was my son. He delivered Chipotle. He's been haranguing me for days to have Chipotle delivered because it's free, and I finally coughed up the credit card for him to tell me it's not free, it's $1.99. I'm like, anyway, so years after he told me that story, and still years ago, we were at a place in downtown Cincinnati called Rhinos on one of these like pull and twist. I know one of these things where it's just like drink a lot for nothing.
Isn't Rhinos where motorists now?
No, Rhinos was actually on 13th. It was between Vine and no, I guess it was between Walnut and Maine on 13th. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're there, and I'm telling some girl this story years after the fact, and Scott, God love him, he let me finish telling the story, and then and only then, years after the fact, did he tell me he'd made the whole fucking thing up.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I told that story to so many people, and he just made it up arbitrarily one day on the river, and didn't ever bother to tell me that.
Oh my God.
May God rest your soul, buddy.
That's classic, man. That's
It's good stuff.
Oh man. Yeah, no, the birds here, man, have been, I don't know if they're that way where you guys are at, but we got a lot of trees, and it's deafening at times.
Yeah.
The birds. It's crazy.
Yes. Well,
I saw a coyote on my street the other day.
Really? Now you know it's the end of times when the wild animals start taking back the territory.
Yeah, it's like 3 houses down from me.
Really? Did you shoot at it?
No. I don't believe in weaponry.
You don't believe in it, but you're aware it exists. You just don't own any.
Yeah, that's more it. And it's not that. I don't believe in weaponry for me. Let me be clear.
Sure, but you're okay with its use for just purposes elsewhere.
Yeah, if somebody feels so inclined, I'm fine with that. But
Bill, what's your take on weaponry?
I was going to say the Cleveland Coyotes would be an awesome name for a sports group.
Oh God, yes, the Cleveland Coyotes.
My dog approves.
Extremely not.
I love it. Well, that's because for a while I was into this. And I'm still kind of in it. This prog phase. It's very strange. And I thought maybe a good name for a band would be the Frogmen of Cleve.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
Greg Miller about that?
Well, we should have invited Greg Miller if we're going to have a Cleveland contingent. I'm surprised I didn't think of that.
Cleveland guys on one call.
Well, I was actually thinking more of the dichotomy of a federal lawyer and a sommelier radio salesperson.
Yes.
But hopefully he'll see this and he'll volunteer to be on. Seriously, I'm having a hard time getting people to do this.
It's fun, man. I don't see why. Why not?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm so uncomfortable. I got to remember to not wear clothes next time. But I don't know if it's Katie and I are elected not to wear clothes.
No. Katie and I did a few of these last night.
You posted you put something up on the Cistern text thing about how I'm doing another video conference with somebody. So sorry, now there's 3. Actually, this might be 4 now, right?
Well, no, none were shared publicly.
Oh, okay. Well, that's I guess. Let me ask you guys this: did I make clear to both of you that I was going to post this?
You're legally supposed to ask us that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of figured it's all right.
Okay.
On my end.
Yeah. I'm not good. Scrap it all.
Okay.
And that's fine. I'm fine with that too.
Okay.
Billy, are you a professional musician now, or what are you up to?
Billy, do this. Tell John, because I wanted to ask you, because we had talked about how a lot of your income is freelance and you have a couple of solid clients and stuff. And Wednesday, you made it sound like things were pretty clear. Give John some background and talk about that a little bit more 3 days later.
Well, since I guess going back to the Dear Me interactions that I had, I moved to Chicago in 2000 and sort of got more in line with the experimental music scene up there.
Nice.
And then around 2003, I moved back to the area, kind of, but I moved to Dayton, Ohio, rather than Cincinnati, and sort of really got in bed with that scene. And a few years after that, maybe
they consider you a local up there.
Well, it was weird. It was weird. I always got the sensation. Or the feeling like nobody moves to Dayton. Why did this guy move to Dayton?
Cheap.
But I was doing
close to stuff.
Work with somebody in New York, and I told him I was working out of Dayton then. And I remember it struck me as odd. They're like, "Oh, you're in like the ground zero for indie rock, right?" And I thought, "Well,
there was a time when that was 100% true."
For sure.
Yeah. There's definitely there was a golden age for all of Ohio, I think, when you had the Cincinnati stuff that we're all very close to.
Yeah, but was there a golden age of Cincinnati stuff? Really, it wasn't like anything really exploded out of here. The Breeders exploded out of Dayton. You could argue that GBV has had a huge lasting impact.
For sure.
I mean, there's lots of things you could. I mean, even up where John is. I mean, you could argue, Chrissy Hine, the Dead Boys, Cramps,
all that stuff.
Perubu, good call.
But so he got wrapped up
Devo
in New York. That's right.
I got my Devo sign back there. Can you guys see the Devo? Can you see the Devo sign?
Yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm.
No.
Anyway, sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, sorry, Billy. I interrupted you.
That's all right.
Well, just give John a little. So Billy's a freelance writer and a pretty damn good one, and he's got a lot of clients, and he's got a handful of like solid clients, some of which have kind of eased back based on what he said Wednesday. I'm sorry, Billy. I don't want to talk for you.
That's good. Yes. Well, I used to be a writer, well, and then an editor with Everybody's News back in the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then up until couple years back, I was an editor with Everything But the House.
I forgot about that.
It's
You and
a-
I talked about that. I forgot about that.
What is that?
It was an online estate sale company based out of Cincinnati here.
Oh,
It's more
cool.
estate sales is a nice way to put asset liquidation. I actually know. I forget. I had a regular who came into the court all the time. Shit, I can't remember her name now, but she was kind of a muck-a-muck there. I can't remember her name now. Did you work with Jay Metz's wife, Jill Metz? She was there for a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Jay's somebody I should call and have do this.
You should. I'm sure he would join you. Yeah.
Yeah. Jay Metz is a guy, local music aficionado, filmmaker, a dabbler in many aspects of the arts, and now he runs the bar and wine and beer and wine department at the Mega Kroger's on Madison Road.
You know, the last time I saw Jay in person, he rode with me to Chicago for a show I did with Joe Pat.
Nice.
And then and Katie, who you saw earlier, was one time at Kroger with her boys.
Mm-hmm.
And noticed like Jay working the bar. She didn't know, but she thought it was curious to say like, oh, you should come to Kroger and visit the bar and have a drink here.
You can go to that Kroger's and get a drink, just beer and wine, obviously, but you can you can get a drink and then continue shopping.
Yeah. So she sent me a picture and I zoomed in on the picture. It's like, ask the bartender about Billy Catfish.
Right.
About Joe Pat.
I can hear Jay now go, oh, I know those guys. Oh, Billy Catfish, I remember that time. Jay's one of the most interesting people I know, and he constantly is reaching out to me to do stuff, and I never seem to be able to. And I tell him, please don't stop. He came to Pariah's practices all the time, and he'd stand in the corner and drink and like do this.
First time in recent years that I saw him, I was pulling in like I did a thing for the Buckle Up Festival. And
I remember that.
When they were still down like by the river, and I hosted like an open mic stage that was underneath the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And he was working like the parking lot for the artists, I guess. I don't know. And I pulled in. I was like, I'm here I'm doing this stage thing. And he's like, I know who you are. You're Billy Catfish. You wrote these songs about flip-flops that changed my life.
Wait, I'm sorry. You wrote songs about flip-flops that changed my life?
Yeah, that's my folk. That was part of my. I became a folkie for a while.
Right on.
Folkie, the Whispering Beard Festival and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. My brother, for some reason, my brother at the B-list had something to do with that Buckle Up. I can't remember what it was. I think Breen had something to do with it too. Maybe I should see if Breen wants to do this too. Boys, I'm gonna hang out. I got some food here, so I'm gonna. I really appreciate both your time. John, what do you think, man? How long until things start getting back to normal?
Oh, my guess is probably mid-May.
Okay. Mid-May. I mean, but
define normal.
Right.
Yeah.
No, a reasonable story. Define normal. Yeah. No, I don't know. I figure my boss is going to start making me try and come back to the office, assuming I have a job, of course. I think my boss is going to start making me come into the office pretty soon, before mid-May. Billy, what do you think?
I was thinking how, by the way, the last time we did this is how the last one ended. Just out of the blue, like, hey, I got to go watch this movie with my wife upstairs.
Right.
We're done here.
Right.
And also, this is never going to end. It's not going to end.
Oh, this is the new normal.
This is normal.
Yeah.
I hope not, but I fear there may be some validity to that.
Well, I was having a conversation with my neighbor earlier. All of our lawns should look amazing.
Well, hey, real quick,
wish it were that easy.
Before we cut this off,
let's
talk about what we're listening to.
Oh, real quick. Okay, go ahead. After you, John.
Oh, well, first off, let me share. I know you're in a hurry, but hold on.
I'm not in a hurry. I'm just hungry. And I also have a 45-minute tap out.
Okay. There's another record store over in Lakewood called My Mind's Eye Records, and they specialize in like a lot of like underground metal, and they have indie
underground
rock.
Metal.
Oh yeah, dude, like the most underground ever.
I'll get Dave Malis up there.
There's a guy the guy that owns the place, he's a vegan metalhead. I don't think I've ever seen him without a Motorhead shirt on. He's awesome. But anyway, so they were saying they're still taking orders, and they leave them out for you. So the other day, I'm on this psych prog thing going on, and I was like, I really want to get the first Tame Impala and the third Tame Impala records. And so
because you have the second.
I don't like the second one, and I don't like the fourth one, but I like the first and the third.
I like the first one. That's the only one It's literally the only one I've heard.
The second one, I think I'm not a second one fan. I'm not a fan of the second one. But the third one I really like a lot. But anyway, so I called and ordered it, and he said, okay, after work I'll drop these off. And I didn't think anything of it. And I got home. I was like, that guy's not going to drive all the way over because it's like a half-hour drive. Cleveland Heights is a half-hour. What?
He did though, didn't he?
No. Because I called him. I called him and told him not to bother.
Okay.
I'll pick him up the next day.
Okay.
So, anyways, I got those two records, and I got the last Kamasi Washington album.
Kamasi Washington, I don't know, don't vouch. You got to text me.
Okay, I love it. But I'm listening to a lot of stuff that's a lot more sound oriented as opposed to riff oriented. So a lot of instrumental stuff.
John, I can't think of a time you've ever really steered me wrong. So whatever you're listening to, I'm interested.
And also something called Shabaka and the Ancestors.
I'm down for that too.
Oh, it's good. They got a new album out. It's awesome. So anyways, that's what I'm listening to. You angled me, and it's been a couple years now. Our speech patterns are so sporadic, it's miserable. But you angled me to the OCs a few years back, and I didn't regret that either. Yeah, love them.
And Billy, what do you got?
I was going to say related, not what I've listened to yet, but I did put in an order the other day. As you know, Scott, my work for the time being continues.
Is your life?
My work for the time being continues.
Right. I'm in that same boat for the time being.
So I placed a Discogs order with one of my favorite local record stores, Torn Light Records. And so I ordered about $50 worth of stuff from them. They specialize in experimental and weird rock. Of course, they cover everything else too. But
what's the name of Torn what?
Torn Light.
Torn Light.
Yeah,
very good.
And it's also a label that issues their own material as well.
Oh, yeah, cool.
But based in Cincinnati, and their first couple locations were here in Northern Kentucky, and they kept growing and growing. So now they're
cool. So is it a record store?
It is
a label.
Record
store. A store and a label, right?
Yes, both. Yeah.
Isn't that affiliated with that church property over there in Dayton? Dayton, Kentucky, or rather?
No.
No, not at all.
No affiliation with any church.
No. It's an old church. I'm sorry. It's an old church building. What's the name of that place in Dayton, Kentucky that has shows and a recording studio? And I thought there was a label or at least some kind of consortium coming out of there.
Oh, Sofa Burn?
It doesn't sound right. I thought it was Torn Light.
Sofa Burn. It's out of Dayton, Kentucky, which Mike Montgomery runs his studio out of, and they have like Our Ring, which features Kelly Deal, and
right on.
Jeremy Pinnell, and they have a roster of artists. So
it's more convoluted than all that.
Yeah.
Well, boys, I'll just have you know I've been listening to Spiritualized all day.
Ah, yeah.
That's it.
Old?
Laser Guided Melodies.
Yep. That's the one.
It is the one. Now that you say that, I was talking about Apple Music before, and I pulled "Ladies and Gentlemen, We're Floating in Space" off of Apple Music, and it came in as 64 tracks, and it's like the original 14 tracks on the record. And then if you want to listen to it, like every broken out segment of every track on the record, it's absolutely awful. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Billy, where are you going?
I'm going down to my basement to get a beer out of my basement fridge.
Okay, you were just alarming me. I just was like, shit. Oh no.
But today I listened to the Bob Dylan's new song.
I know the 17-minute one. You've already said.
Song. It's his first official release in like 6 years, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
6? Only 6?
Heavy, man. I love it. I love it. And there's a million lyrics to wrap your head around. And he's not telling people when it was recorded. It's definitely relevant now.
Dude, I gotta
I
hear
listened to
that.
like 4 times. in a row.
Grab me one of those too. Is that a Miller? Grab me one.
Actually, kegged an IPA today.
Wow.
I gotta come get some beer from you.
Look at
Boys,
that.
boys, I gotta go eat. I love
All
you
right.
both. Thank you
All
both
right.
very much. John,
No,
we'll
nice.
catch up again real soon. Billy, I
All
will touch base with you. Thank you so much for being there for me.
Thanks, guys. Nice talking to you both.
Nice talking to you, John. Take care. You guys have a great day.